Okay, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to day one of Lean Six Sigma Green Belt Certification Hackathon. Now, first, let me explain you what is this hackathon all about, and then I will start the session. So, as we know, our process is, most of you, join the yellow belt session on Sunday, and after the session, you guys upgrade to the green belt, black belt, master black belt, according to the plans. Now, what happens as all we know that we are all what do you say the busy people, yeah, working professionals. So we start with the enthusiasm, but we never go across the line. So it is like you make the century, but you don't win the match. Okay, for the team. So what is expected is you, whatever efforts you are taking, okay, you should get that reward, and the reward is the certificate, right? So that's why we design this hackathon mechanism. So every month, first week of the month, we gather together for 3 days. Okay, so 1 month we do it for the green belt, other month it will be for black belt, and again the green belt, again the black belt. Okay, for master black belt, as of now, we don't have any hackathon as such, because master black belt, there are conceptual things, so there are not tools, etc. So, so the point is that in the hackathon, what happens is we revise the content of this entire curriculum, and then the people who have been through the content, they're ready for the exam. We give them the examination link on the third day. Okay, if you are ready. Again, day three, examination opens for the people who are ready. It is not mandatory for everybody. All right. See, we have invited everybody to join this. Few people have just completed the yellow belt and just come into the green belt. So for them also, it will be a completely different experience altogether. All right. Yes. So are you guys ready? Just give me yes in the chat box, and let me start the session straight away. Now I will be sharing the content which is already there in your green belt curriculum. Now green belt is your course number one. Course number one. All right. Super. Super. Just a second. All right, so Lean Six Sigma Green Belt Fast Track Certification Hackathon. That's what my screen says. Okay. Now this is the same PPT which you already have in your green belt, which you can download from your green belt, LMS course number one. Okay. Now, when it comes to Lean Six Sigma, we all know that Lean Six Sigma is combination of Lean, which is coming from Toyota, and Six Sigma, which is coming from Motorola, right? So Lean's objective, if you remember, this is just a quick revision I'm doing. Lean removes waste and increases the speed, removes non-value added processes and steps. And on the other side, Six Sigma reduces the variation, improves the quality, and reduces the defect. Okay, so Lean, when it comes to Lean, understand this. This is the basic fundamental, So when you want to increase the speed of the process, there are Lean tools available. When you want to improve the quality of the process, there is Six Sigma available. Are you understanding these two fundamental differences? So let's say, I want to reduce the delivery time. So Lean tools will be more prominent, will be more powerful. If I want to reduce the customer complaint, quality defect, Six Sigma tools will be more powerful. Clear? So speed and accuracy bring together, that brings more profitability to the organization. Okay, so this is just a reminder. And if you remember, these are the 5 levels in Lean Six Sigma. Okay, so white belt level is something which is a very basic awareness. Okay, so in our Sunday sessions, we cover right from the yellow belt itself. Okay, and then green belt, black belt, master black belt. So the question is, what is the fundamental difference between these levels? Okay, so in one line, if you have to understand the fundamental difference, see, the framework is absolutely common, which is DMAIC. Okay, but as you go up in the ladder, like from yellow belt to green belt to black belt to master black belt, so advanced statistical tools we learn. Statistical tools, lean tools, okay, which basically gives us, for example, I'll give you an example of it. Advanced statistical tools is design of experiment, advanced hypothesis, ANOVA, okay. Or when it comes to lean, there are some tools like theory of constraint. There are some tools like, Hijunka, Jidoka, and all the other tools which basically we use in the black belt, master black belt level, so that, see, we can solve the complex problems. So as we go in the ladder, we start solving more and more complex problems of the organization, and to become equipped to solve them, this entire hierarchy has been created. Okay. And see, I ask this question in every session. Who is father of Six Sigma? Type in the chat box, everybody. I have just kept it into host and panelists, but I can read your comments. Type in the chat box. Who is father of Six Sigma? Abhi Google mat karna. Without Googling this, you have to answer this question, or don't ask to chat GPT. Who is father of Six Sigma? Type in the chat box, everybody. If you know this. Yes. Who is father of Six Sigma? No, Six Sigma. I'm asking about Six Sigma. See, Lean came from Japan, not Six Sigma. Six Sigma came from US. It has to be American. Yeah, who's that? Okay, so, very good. Giriji, you have given the right answer. The name is Bill Smith. Write this down. So Bill Smith is father of Six Sigma. And along with Bill Smith, there was another person who contributed immensely to Six Sigma, the DMAC framework, the belt hierarchy. The name is Professor Michael Harry. Write down these two names, very important for our knowledge point of view. Bill Smith plus Michael Harry, both were working for Motorola. Okay. So after Bill Smith passed away, Michael Harry came out of Motorola, started Six Sigma Academy. Michael Harry also recently passed away. So Michael Harry was the one who basically, started giving this belt hierarchy: green belt, black belt, master black belt, yellow belt, and all these things. It was basically Michael Harry's creation. Okay, this is just for your information. Remember this. Then let's start with some of the of the points here. This is, I'm talking about the introduction of Lean Six Sigma, some part I'm covering today, right now in this. Okay. So let's talk about strategic forces. Again, let me repeat, this is the same content already available in your course number 1, Lean Six Sigma Green Belt. Okay, because this is a Green Belt hackathon. Now, imagine your organization as this hexagon. Okay. And on this organization, there are always some forces act upon, and we call them as strategic forces. What is strategic forces? The force which can change the strategy of the organization. This concept was brought in the light by Michael Porter. He's a professor. Okay. So Michael Porter, you can Google about it, Michael Porter strategic forces. He gives huge lectures on this. Okay. Now let's understand what he basically talks about and how it is relevant to Lean Six Sigma in our concept. Now, every organization, there are some strategic forces act upon. Strategic forces meaning the force which can change, which can alter our strategy of the company. Okay, let me give you examples of it. Now, the first and the foremost strategic force is customer. Customer's requirement can change the strategy of the company, yes or no? When I say customer, it means the overall market I'm talking about. If the market demand changes, obviously you need to change your strategy. The second force could be current competitor. If the Domino's says 30 minutes are free, and if you're Pizza Hut, you cannot say, I will give in 45 minutes. You can't say that. you have to provide 30 or even lesser than that. So your current competitor will always, be changing your strategy. Then potential competitor. What is potential? Potential meaning the competitors who are not yet arrived in the market. For example, in the telecom market, who is the potential competitor which is arriving now? Type in the chat box, everybody. Now, the telecom market, we have Jio, we have Vodafone, we have Airtel, and we have, some other companies. But which company is arriving now as a potential competitor? No, Jio is the current. Exactly. So it was upcoming is Elon Musk company, Starlink, exactly. SpaceX is for the space, this one. So it's Starlink, right? So Starlink is a company which has a huge potential. They have got huge investment and they can be a real threat. Similarly, a few years ago, when I was coaching, National Stock Exchange in Lean Six Sigma, so there, mobile trading was just getting introduced. Okay, and even MCX SX was also entering into commodity market. So even the biggest stock exchange like National Stock Exchange NSC, they also have to change their strategy accordingly. Okay, yeah. Collaborator with Airtel, Jio Airtel and services in India. Okay. Very good. Super. Okay, coming back to government policies. Government policy also has a huge, impact on the strategy. For example, what I can say. Let me share you my personal experience with this. I had invested in one of the online gaming platform, and they were already into online lotteries, etc. And one fine day, the government declared that demonetization, and it has hugely impacted the business, the online lottery business, etc. And it basically almost went out of the business. Entire business went out. So then again, GST implementation, the percentage GST implementation has a huge implication. You have plastic ban; it can have a huge implication. So any change in the government policies can have a huge impact on the organizational strategy. Then complementers. What is complementer? The complementer is a company which has product or service which can complement with your product or service. Example, if you are into automotive, the steel will be a complementing industry. Okay. If you are into, let's say, real estate, so cement industry will be complementing industry, or the lenders, which is banks and NBFCs, will be complementary for that industry. So one industry goes up, other industry also goes accordingly. One industry goes down, other industry also gets the impact. So it's called complementing industries with each other. Then substitute. Substitute meaning the product or service which can substitute your product and service. Like for example, earlier, the computers replace a lot of things, computers replacing the typewriters and a lot of things. Then mobile, the laptop came. The laptop replaced the computers, the desktops basically. Then the palm tops and the mobile phones, these replace the other types of the computers and replace, the camera, replace the wristwatch. There are so many things which got replaced. So that is substitute. Any product we can substitute your product. Okay. See, all these are the forces which keep on acting on the organization. Whether you like it or not, whether you are aware about it or not, it doesn't matter. These forces will keep on acting on the organization. Now, the message here is, okay, most of us spend our time on, maintaining our current product and service. Yes or no? Let me ask you this question. Okay. I believe most of you are the working professionals. Okay. Let me ask you a very simple question. In your 8 hours of time, 8 hours, 9 hours of your, what do you say, duty hours, how much percentage do you spend on, listen to me very carefully, on maintaining your SOPs or following your standard operating procedure, and how much percentage you spend on innovation, improvement. Type in the chat box, percentage wise. First is how much time you spend in following the SOP. And second is how much time you spend in innovating and improving the processes. Type in the chat box. Everybody, give me the percentage. 80-20, okay. 70-30, okay, very good. 90-10, 50-50, yeah, that's amazing. That's very good. 50-50 is a very good number. That means you're already on the way of improving. 10, 90-10. 90 is SOP maintaining, and this one. 20-80. So currently you are saying 20% you are just following SOPs and 80% you are innovating. Is my understanding clear? What you have written, 20-80? Just give me yes or no in the chat box. Okay, that's very good. That is something which is supposed to be like that. Okay, very good, very good. Now understand this. This maintenance of, so there are two parts. Okay, maintaining the current status quo of the processes, and second is improvement in quality cost driven service, QCDS, right? So that's where this is very, very important. Now, these forces acting upon the organization ask for change. And we, as a working professional, as employees or the people in the organization, we just do not change. Majority of the focus remains in whatever is there, SOP, following the SOP. And we seldomly, very rarely focus on the change, the improvement, innovation. Are you understanding? And that's where Lean Six Sigma comes into picture. There is a very famous quote from CEO of GE, ex-CEO of GE. Of course, he is no more again. His name is Jack Welch. What he used to say is, this is very important statement. I'm just paraphrasing it. It is not exactly the same quote, but understand the meaning of it. What he says, the rate of change of internal, just try to understand this. Rate of change of internal is less than the rate of change of external. Internal meaning inside the organization. External meaning outside of the organization. I repeat the statement. If the rate of change of internal is less than the rate of change of external, then it is the beginning of the death of the organization. Listen to me very carefully. I repeat the statement once again. The moment you got it, just type got it in the chat box. The rate of change of internal is less than the rate of change of external. Then it is the beginning of the death of the organization. How many of you got it? Just type got it in the chat box. Very simple, but very powerful, profound statement. Yes, got it? So this is the meaning of strategic forces. So we are here basically to improve, not just to maintain. Our role is to improve, innovate, change. We are the change leaders. Right? Very good. Thank you very much. Super, super. So now let's slowly enter into the, yes, micro and macro factor. Absolutely right, Deveshji. So let's slowly improve upon, just a second. Okay, so in the define phase, we are going to touch upon these major, topics, okay, today, right? So let's start with the project identification. Again, I'm not covering all the slides of the define phase. Understand this? I'm just touching upon the highlights. Very important points, explaining you the conceptual part of it. Okay, and anything which requires more explanation, I'll be more than happy. Any doubt you have, you can put it in the chat box. Okay. Now let's talk about project selection. Now the first question is, who is accountable for project selection? Who is accountable for project selection? Is it white belt, yellow belt, green belt, black belt, master black belt, or someone else? Everybody type in the chat box. Who is accountable for selecting the project? Yes, the answer is master black belt along with top management. Write this down. Accountability. If you do not have master black belt in your organization, then you can the black belt also can be a resource for that kind of thing. It's like when captain is not there, vice captain can play the role of a captain, right? Similarly, black belt, master black belt is not there, then black belt can do the, but majorly the project selection identification is accountability of MBB. So in the green belt level, it is just briefly covered. In the master black belt level, we have covered it in a very detailed manner. Okay, there are various aspects of project selection which we'll see in the master black belt. But here we have just touched upon some of the big pointers. Okay, so what are the sources of selection? How do we select the project? The first is the strategy, which I just discussed. Okay, so wherever there is a gap, let's say competitor says, as I've given you example of Domino Pizza, 30 minutes or free, right? Now, let's say you are Pizza Hut. Then you have to take target, let's say 20 minutes. And accordingly, whatever is the gap in your process, you have to basically select the projects to bridge those gaps, to deliver the product within 20 minutes. Are you understanding? So strategy makes a huge impact on our project selection. Okay, and always we have to see whether our projects are aligned with the strategy. What is strategy? Strategy is to achieve the path to achieve the goals of the organization, right? So our alignment of the project towards the strategy is very important, and which is the role of master black belt. Okay, then SWOT analysis. What is SWOT analysis? SWOT is strength, weakness, opportunities, and threats. Where strengths and weaknesses are the internal parameters, opportunities and threats are the external parameters. So this is a, top management people sit together, list down what are the strength of our organization. Strength could be, the brand image could be the strength. Strength could be the experience of the people could be the strength. But the advanced technology which we use can be the strength. Okay, weakness could be if we don't have, what you can say, variety of the product range. That can be the weakness. Okay, so I'm just giving you example. All right. Yeah. See, SWOT is nothing but it's a strategic tool. SWOT is nothing but it's a strategic tool, which means strength, weakness. So it is actually done in this fashion. Okay. So strength, weakness, opportunities, and threats. Then opportunities. And the threats. Now, what are opportunities? Opportunities meaning what are the upcoming opportunities? Can we expand our business to the neighboring countries? Can we expand the business in some other continent? Okay. So these are the opportunities. Threats meaning, as we said, the upcoming competitors can be the threat. Upcoming technology, AI could be the threat, right? Yes. Yeah, SWOC. Okay. So C for challenges. Yeah. So threats and the challenges are similar, right? Very good. So this is where strength, weakness, opportunities, and threats also can showcase you, the potential gaps. Where are the gaps and where you can focus? That also can lead to Lean Six Sigma projects for you. Okay. Low performance KPIs. This is the very effective strategy. low performance KPI. Okay. Yeah, see, there are a lot of models like SWOT analysis. In our master black belt, we have discussed about something about um, what you can say, the it is A3 model. We suggest a A3 model as well, which I will cover this in some session. There are various models like, yeah, BCG matrix also we can see, similar kind of thing. There are so many models we have. So we have to select one model and we have to run with that. Okay. Now, coming back to low performing KPI. KPI meaning key performance indicators, right? So in our organization, what are the low performing KPI that we have to identify? And those can be your potential projects. Customer complaints also can be one of the very good resource for the project identification. Cost reduction. This is very close to heart of the management. If you take any initiative which reduces the cost, that can be a huge impact. Okay. Yeah. KPI meaning key performance indicator. Let's key performance indicator. For example, just to give a simple example, let's say you are HR department. So as a HR department, how do I come to know whether my HR department is functioning properly? How my HR department is functioning properly? So there has to be some indicator, right? For a cricket batsman, my strike rate is a KPI. My average batting average is my KPI. How many runs I am scoring, that is my KPI. How many centuries I have made, that is my KPI. So these are the indicators which indicate whether I am doing good or not. So let's talk about HR. What are the indicators in the HR department which can tell us that HR department is functioning properly? Can you just type in the chat box quickly? What are the just take a simple example, common example, because HR is a department which every organization has. So what are the indicators? Okay. Attrition rate, very nice. Attrition rate, percentage attrition, that can be a KPI, key performance indicator. Very good. What else? Engagement score, employee engagement score. Yes. Talent management. So indicator. What is indication? What will be the scoreboard? Sick leaves. Okay. So leave management. So sick leave can be a KPI. Employee satisfaction score can be a key performance indicator. Employee retention can be a key performance indicator. Time taken to appoint the new employee, amazing indicator, very important indicator. Okay, very good. So these are some of the KPIs. Are you clear? So cost to hire also is very, very important indicator. Yes, very, very good pointers. Yeah. Who asked this question? Yeah. Yeah, Ramakrishna Maji, are you clear with this? Just give me yes with some examples. Cost to hire, yeah, training set. Very good. Yes, just give me yes in the chat box. Very good, very good, very good. Now then quality issues. Like our internal quality issues, external quality issues, customer complaints, as we have already spoken. So these are some of the sources of identifying the projects. As I said, this is just briefly explained in the green belt level because green belts are not accountable for identifying. As you go in the master black belt, this is explained in a greater way. Okay. Now, when you select the project, it should be meaningful and manageable. What does it mean? It should be meaningful for the customer and the business. Okay. So any problem you have selected, either it has to be customer oriented or business oriented problem. What is customer oriented? For example, customer complaint is a customer oriented project. Your machine breakdown is a business oriented, it's an internal project. So customer oriented is something like externally driven. Business oriented is something like internally driven. Let's say attrition is an internally driven business project, because customer has got nothing to do with your attrition. Customer has got nothing to do with your machine downtimes, breakdowns, etc. Are you understanding? But when it comes to quality, customer is very much interested. When it comes to complaints, customer is very much interested. So these are, either it has to be important for customer or business or for both. Okay. Then manageable. It should be within the control of the organ. That means the root causes should be remain in our control. There should be control on the root causes. We should be able to control the root causes. That is called manageable. Okay. It shouldn't be too big and shouldn't be too small. Shouldn't be too big. We call it as world hunger. Puri dunya ki bhukmari mita dunga. World hunger project. That's a good statement for, you know, for global leaders, but not for Lean Six Sigma practitioners. We have to be very practical. Whatever we can control, that much of project we have to take. Okay. And again, see, Lean Six Sigma is not kind of small, what you can say, Kaizen projects. We are not doing small improvements here. Lean Six Sigma projects are, you know, complex challenges we are solving permanently from the system. So it should not be too small. So, you know, we don't use the machine gun to kill the mosquito, right? So we have to use the machine gun properly wherever it is required. Okay. So these are some of the pointers while selecting the project we need to remember. All right. Now, let's look at these couple of diagrams here. When it comes to importance and urgency, so on the horizontal axis, it is urgency, and on the vertical axis, it is importance. Okay. So Lean Six Sigma project should be, it should be important and moderately urgent, I would say. Moderately urgent. Now, why not urgent here? What is it? What does super urgent mean? Let's talk about this. What does super urgent mean? Super urgent meaning customer is already on the doorstep. You have huge customer complaint piled up and you have to solve that problem. That is called super urgent. Now, in that scenario, you might compromise on the quality of the project. You might miss out on some of the steps. You might miss out on hypothesis testing, regression, statistical tools, etc., which can, or you just surface level find out the causes and take the action immediately. So that may not give you the long-term impact which you are expecting from the project. That's why super urgent project should be avoided. Moderately urgent project should be selected. Clear? This is just a conceptual diagram, guys. You cannot measure what is super urgent and what is not urgent, etc. But this is just a spectrum just to sensitize you about it. Are you clear? Just give me yes in the chat box. Clear, hai? Everybody, can you just give me yes? Anywhere you find difficult to understand, please let me know. Okay. Very good. There is another matrix here, which is difficulty and importance. So importance remains the same and difficulty also. So here also we can say that it has to be important and moderately difficult. What is difficult, by the way? Difficult meaning the projects which can, which has very huge complex thing. See, understand, we are operational excellence. Lean Six Sigma is operational excellence methodology. There are few projects which are strategically driven. Understand this. Operational projects and strategic projects, you know, there are certain organization boardroom decides some strategy of the organization for. So there are some directions which has to be taken by the top management. Okay, those things cannot be decided at the operations level, process level. Are you understanding? So we have to select projects which are operational level, process level challenges, which are moderately difficult, not easy, too easy, and not too difficult, too complex, so that it will take 6 months, 10 months, 1 year to solve the problem, because the scenario can change drastically. Okay, so it has to be moderately difficult. It has to be moderately urgent. That is the message I wanted to convey through this. Okay, now let's quickly touch upon Lean Six Sigma vocabulary, the terminology which we use, in our daily projects and in our studies as well. All right, starting with voice of customer. What is voice of customer? Let's try to understand what is voice of customer. Voice of customer is nothing but data which shows the requirement of the customer, the complaints of the customer, the expectation of the customer, the needs of the customer. It's called voice of customer. Okay. Now, in your organization, type in the chat box, how do you collect? What are the various ways in which you can collect the voice of customer? Type in the chat box. What are the ways in which you can collect the voice of the customer? Think about it and type in the chat box. Everybody. Very good. Customer complaints, customer feedbacks, satisfaction surveys. Amazing, amazing. Very nice. Yeah, so there are various channels through which we can collect that. CSAT score, customer satisfaction score, email survey. Very good, very good. So there are various ways through which we connect with the customer and we collect the data which is related. Now, let's take a very simple example. You go to a restaurant and, after you finish your meals, lunch or dinner, then while you go out, there is a register of the feedback is kept, just beside the exit door. And that the manager requests you to give a feedback about our service, right? So you give the feedback that, some of your family member didn't like the taste and something like that. So you give the feedback, I'm not happy. Okay. And you give honest feedback, I'm not happy with your service. Okay, let's say. Now this is a data. This is the information collected by the hotel. Now, this is a very generic statement. This is also voice of customer because it's a complaint by a customer. Now, we need to identify as a hotelier, as a management of that hotel, we have to identify what are the parameters which can make the customer satisfied or dissatisfied. What are the critical parameters? Can you just give me one or two critical parameters of the restaurant which can make customer happy or dissatisfied? Very good. Test. Superb. Test is one. What else? Delivery time, TAT, I would say. Very nice. Hygiene, superb. What else? Cost. Very nice. So, understand this. All these are, let's talk about one by one. Can we measure the test? Type yes or no in the chat box. Can we measure the test? Test को आप measure कर सकते हो क्या? Yes, no. Everybody. Everybody saying no. Okay. Can we measure hygiene? Yes, no. Can we measure hygiene? Can we measure hospitality of the staff? Now, when we take Ola, Uber, or Rapido, right? After arriving at a destination, we receive a message. Please give the rating to the driver. Yes or no? What is that? Yes? They ask the rating, right? 3 stars, 5 stars. Correct? What is that? How do you define your experience? How do you define the test? Which is a little subjective in nature, right? Your understanding, your liking of the test would be completely different. Are you understanding? So we can give the rating on the scale of 1 to 5, 1 to 10 for all these aspects. and make them measurable. Why we should make them measurable? Because whatever we measure, we can improve. Yesterday we discussed this. How many of you remember that? Just give me a in the chat box. Whatever we can measure, we can improve. Whatever we can't measure, we cannot improve. If we do not collect the data from the customer, how would you rate our food on the scale of 1 to 10? Somebody would rate 4, somebody would rate 10, somebody would rate 6. You take the average. Now you have a number to play around. Okay, you are 6 out of 10 and we have to take at least 9 out of 10. And that is your project. And what we are doing, what we are basically, this test, TAT, cost, these are called as critical to quality, CTQ. From voice of customer, we have to identify critical to quality attributes. Test, hygiene, cost, delivery time, hospitality. These are critical to quality, which can dissatisfy or satisfy the customer. If you do it good, it will satisfy. If you are not doing well in this, customer will be dissatisfied. Clear, everybody? VOC and CTQ, just give me yes in the chat box. Clear hai? Very good. Now give me 1 or 2 CTQs in your process. Type in the chat box. If the understanding is clear, type in the chat box. Give me 1 or 2 CTQs for your process, for your product and service. It is for the product and service, okay, which goes to the customer. Give me 1 or 2. Let me connect. Let me connect. Very good. Purity. Can you just put your industry as well? Industry भी आप डालिए ताकि कुछ connection मिल जाए. Purity. So is it pharmaceutical, nutraceutical ऐसा कुछ है? BPO industry. Chemical. Okay, chemical. Very good. Chemical industry. Assay. Okay, assay. Again, it's a chemical pharma में assay use होता है. FCR. After sale service. Very good. Color. Density. Superb. These are CTQs. Amazing. और डालिए. Critical to quality डालिए. Delivery time. Very nice. इंजीनियरिंग प्रोजेक्ट में व्हाट इज द CTQ? एक इंजीनियरिंग प्रोजेक्ट का एक CTQ डालिए. क्रिटिकल टू क्वालिटी डालिए एक एट्रीब्यूट. प्रोजेक्ट्स के लिए, इंजीनियरिंग प्रोजेक्ट्स के लिए, लेट्स से इफ यू आर डूइंग एनी प्रोजेक्ट, maybe delivery time can be one of the, some quality attributes would be there for your FMCG product. Packaging quality, very good. Packaging quality is a very good. Physical appearance could be a CTQ. On the scale of 1 to 10, you can rate the physical appearance. Quality, speed, timely confirmation to the member. OEE, very nice. Very good. Okay, clear hai everybody? Just give me a in the chat box. Clear? Very good. Now let's talk a simple example. For every CTQ, there is a range given by the customer, in which they will accept it. Okay, for example, let's say you are talking about, let's say tea. Let's talk about simple example of tea. Now customer will say, I will accept tea between 70 degree and 90 degree centigrade. Customer will, now customer will not exactly tell you the numbers, but customer will say, this tea is too cold for me. And somebody will say, this is too hot for me. So you have to measure that temperature and decide, okay, so customer does not accept after this and does not accept before this. Okay, so that becomes lower and upper specification limit. Okay, see, voice of design and specification limits are the same thing. Voice of design and specification limit. Okay, so for every CTQ, you can define, meaning with the customer feedback, you have to define specification limits. And in that specification limit, you have to perform. If it does not fall in the specification limit, it is rejected. Are you understanding? So when it comes to the temperature, the tea temperature, okay, 80 degree becomes the target. So here we have seen target. Target is 80°, but always there is some variation. That's why we give a range. So 70 and 90, I can expect, but target is 80. So anything which falls within this specification limit is accepted, and which does not fall is rejected. And rejected is called as a defect. Okay. Then what is defect opportunity? Defect opportunity meaning in the product or service, in one product or service, there could be multiple defect opportunities. I'll give you a simple example. Okay. Let's talk about a shirt. Let's say we are shirt manufacturers. So let me just draw a shirt. See, I'm not very good in drawing this, but again, just for our understanding. Okay, this is, let's say we are manufacturing shirts. All right. Okay, now let's say we are making shirts. Now in this shirt, there could be, this is one product, one unit. Okay. In one product, there could be multiple defects. Okay, for example, buttons missing could be a defect. Okay, stitching problem could be a defect. The stain, there could be stain while making the process, there could be some kuch daag dhabbe reh gaye. That could be a defect. Okay, or thread out could be a defect, or it is torn in between. Incorrect size could be a defect. So in one product, there could be multiple defects, and those multiple defects are called as defect opportunities. There is a potential. In one shirt, there could be multiple defects which can come, and that will make that product defective. Are you understanding? Yes. So defect opportunities are the potential defect which can come in the product and on services. Okay. So type in the chat box one defect opportunity you have. Okay. Yeah, I'll repeat this. Meanwhile, the people who have understood this, type one defect opportunity which comes in your product or service, regularly. Type in the chat box. So what is defect opportunity? A potential defect which can occur or which can come in the product and service. Let's take the same example of the hotel service. Okay. So if the test is not there, it is a defect opportunity. If it is delayed delivery, it is a defect opportunity. Clear? Hai? Very good. Physical appearance, hardness, the defect opportunity. Very good. Mostly found in supplier quality. Yes. Just give me one example. One example of defect opportunity, which you find, which you regularly find it. Incomplete information in the banking service is a defect opportunity. Very nice. Thread spoiling, oversize, undersize bore. Very good. Machine failure or loss of supply item. Yes, so it could be a defect opportunity. Very good. What else? Caps not fitting in the jerry can. Very nice. Dent on the sheet metal part. Very good. It's a defect opportunity. Fantastic. Super. Fitment issues, finishing, quality, or machine lack of maintenance. So quality. So see, lack of maintenance could be the reason, but what impact it is creating, what defect is creating at the product. That is what we are basically counting. Okay. Now then comes the voice of the process. This is nothing but simple data which is collected. Voice of the process, nothing but a data which we collect from the process, like the production number, the sales number, the average handling time in the BPO. These are the data which we collect, number of defects per shift. This is the voice of process. Okay. And project Y is nothing but from voice of customer. What is the project we are identifying? That is called project Y. For example, let's connect the dot here. I'm not happy with your hotels, with your restaurant service is the voice of customer. Then when they collected the feedback, they identify that test rating is very poor. So test rating was, let's say, average 6 out of 10. So they have collected a lot of data and they found that it is currently 6 out of 10. So improving average test rating of XYZ restaurant from 6 out of 10 to 9 out of 10 by December 2025 is my project Y. Are you clear? So from the voice of customer, we have identified a project, and this is called a project Y. Are you clear? Just type yes in the chat. And are you clear with all the vocabularies? Yeah, you can just take a screenshot if you wish. It is being recorded. It will be shared with you as well. Okay, super clear. Yeah. The only change is that the recording will be kept in the hackathon folder. Okay, there is a folder called hackathon in your LMS, not in our regular masterclass archive. Masterclass archive में Monday and Saturday वाले recordings होंगे. This hackathon, Greenbelt hackathon, there is a separate folder where you will find this recording. Okay. Very good, very good. Super, super. Now, let me just talk about, okay, so this is all explained again in your curriculum. You can see here, which I just discussed. Okay, now let's talk about something very interesting called Kano model. Okay, now Professor Noriaki Kano, again, who is one of the very profound quality leader from, Japanese quality revolution, he put this model called Kano model. According to him, when you collect the voice of customer, you put that voice of customer in three different buckets. One is called the basic requirement, then a performance, and the delight. Let me explain you with a simple example. Let's say I'm talking about this marker. Okay, this marker which I'm using to write on the screen. Okay. Or let's take any whiteboard marker. Now, when it is a marker as a product, what is the basic expectation? Marker ho ya fir pen ho. Okay. What is the basic requirement, expectation from that product? Type in chat box. Whether it is a marker or a pen, what is the basic expectation? It should write very smoothly. Yes or no? Simple expectation. That's what we are paying for it, correct? It should write on the paper. It should write on the whiteboard. That is why it is made, right? It's a basic feature. Okay, correct? What is the performance feature? Performance feature, the same example. Let's say earlier, let's say that marker used to last for 1 month. Okay. Now the company has done some modification in the ink or some design, etc. Now the pen is lasting for 2 months smoothly. That means the performance has improved. If you're driving an automobile, the earlier mileage was 15 kilometers per liter. Now company has improved on the engine performance, etc. Now the vehicle is giving 20 kilometers per liter. That is the performance feature. Are you understanding? Performance feature. Okay. Then the delighter. What is delighter? Delighter meaning which is not expected by the customer. For example, for the pen example, you are offering, along with the pen, you are offering maybe inbuilt digital clock, something very different, or alarm clock, or a scented ink. When the moment you start writing, it would give an amazing aroma. Camera in the pen, yeah. So spies anyway use this. Cameras, right? So these are called delighter feature. 1 + 1 free. Yeah, that can be also. Torch in the pen, a small torch you can use. So these are called as a delighter feature. Okay. Convert process product in increased longevity. Yes. So this is very good example. Raw perishable material you can convert, just to increase the longevity of it. Now, so basic feature again, which is basic expected. Performance, as from earlier, they are expecting a little better, and it will keep on, expecting better. Delighter, it is unexpected and still you are providing. Now, what Professor Cano says, when you collect voice of customer, okay, and while selecting the projects, now we are in the process of project selection. While selecting the project, first you give the priority to the basic feature. If your basic features are not functioning properly, if they are missing, then your project should be addressing the basic feature requirement. Understand this? Then the second, once your basic features are fixed properly, they're functioning properly, then you focus on the performance feature, how you can improve your performance further. Your project should be focused on the performance then. And then you should focus on the delighter. If you alter this sequence, it would be disastrous for you and your company. Are you clear with this? Just give me yes in the chat box. So first the basic, then the performance and the delighter. This should be the sequence of identifying the projects. Are you clear? Just give me yes. This is a simple explanation of the Cano model, which is given, explained by a lot of, the graphs, etc. But this is the main crux of it. You have to be very clear whether it's a basic feature, whether it is performance feature, whether it's a delighter feature. Okay. Now, type in the chat box one basic feature and one performance feature in your product. Type in the chat box quickly. Quickly type in the chat box. We are going to take a 5 to 10 minutes break after around 8:30, 8:35. Okay. So because I know that you guys are working and traveling, since I'm also the same. So we'll take a quick break. Maybe we can around 8:30, etc. Okay. And we'll close around 9:30, 9:40, etc. Okay. Yeah. Type in the chat box the basic feature and then the one performance feature. Okay. Yeah. Ready to use. If the customer requirement says deliver in 10 days, okay, that is the basic feature, SLA driven, okay. Basic feature is looks, performance feature is multifunctional, okay. Very good. Education industry, syllabus and teaching. The basic feature is what? Syllabus, and performance feature is teaching, is it? Okay. Mobile phone. What is the basic feature? Let's say mobile phone is your product. What could be the basic feature? What could be the performance feature? Let's say mobile phone is, the voice quality or the range capturing quality, the storage capacity. They're the basic features. Performance feature could be, let's say your mobile lasts for 2 years. Now you have increased the lifespan to 3 years. That could be a performance feature. Very good. Very good. Clear? This is called Cano model. Okay. Very nice. Super. So let's talk about something called internal project selection. Okay. Now, whatever we have discussed was external way of selecting the project. Let's talk about internal way of selecting the project. What is internal way of selecting the project? You remember there are two types. One is external, which is customer driven, from voice of customer. It's called customer driven. Okay. Internal meaning within your organization, department wise challenges, if you are, solving. For example, let's take example. First, map the process in the macro level, like P1, P2, P3, P4, P5, just like this. This is the example given. Just try to understand this. Now, we have, let's say, surface preparation, process number 1, pre-coating, lead coating, primer, and painting. Let's say these are the 5 steps. It can be any process, but these are the 5 steps. Okay. Just like our yesterday's pizza example, right? The dough preparation, and then, the toppings and the sausages mixing, then the baking, then the cutting, and then the packaging. So these similarly, they're the 5 steps. Okay. Now, there is something called yield. What is yield? Try to understand this. What is yield? It says 0.97. That means 97%. What does it mean? Let's say if I put 100 pieces in surface preparation, 97 pieces will come out of surface preparation without any defect. That is called 97% yield. Okay. Let's say I receive 100 calls in my call center, in my inbound call center or a BPO, out of which 97 calls I can answer and solve the query. That means my yield is 97%. Are you understanding? If 100 pizza deliveries orders have come, if I delivered 97 pizzas on time, that is 97% yield. Are you clear, everybody? Just give me yes in the chat box. Without any defect, that is called a yield. Clear? Similarly, pre-coating has 94% yield, lead coating 93, primer 93, and the last is painting, which has got the least yield is 0.6, which is 60% yield. Okay, so you first identify what is the lowest yield function or the process. Now, once you identify which is painting in this case, okay, then you can go deeper. Here, before we go further, there is something called rolled throughput yield here. Yield is for each and every process, it is called yield. What is called rolled throughput yield? Rolled throughput yield is nothing but the yield of this entire system. It's called rolled throughput yield. So how do you calculate this? You calculate this by multiplying each and every yield. For example, 0.97 into 0.94 into 0.93 into 0.93 into 0.6. If you do the multiplication, it is 0.47. That means the total yield is nothing but 47%. So if I put 100 pieces in surface preparation, I will get 47 pieces out without any defect. First time right, FTR, at the end of the tunnel. That is called rolled throughput yield or first pass yield. Are you clear? Just for your information. Everybody with me till now, just give me yes. Yahan tak sabko samajh mein? What we have done? First, we map the macro level processes and we have found what are the percentage yields for each and every processes. And now we have selected the least yield process, which is painting in this case. And now we have started collecting why the yield is so low, what are the major defects, and we do a Pareto of that. So we collect the data of painting defects. Okay, how many painting defects, what are the different types of defects are there? And then accordingly, we do a Pareto 80-20 principle. And whatever are the biggest contributors, 2 or 3, those are our projects. Are you clear how we calculate this? How we identify the projects in the internal way? First, you map the processes, make the yields, find out the lowest yield process, and then you can do a Pareto of that. And from the Pareto, you identify the projects. Okay. We call it as FTQ or first time quality for our product. Exactly. All these are same thing, rolled throughput yield, first pass yield, first time right. All these are same thing. The FTQs. Okay. Whether without any rework or rejection, you pass the specification limit, you clear the specification limit, that is called the FTQ or FTR. Okay, so this is called internal way of project selection. Are you clear with this? Just give me yes in the chat box. So we have seen external way of project selection, internal way of project selection as well. Okay, super. So everybody remembers project charter, which we have discussed in the yellow belt as well. Yes, project charter सबको मालूम है, सबको ध्यान में है, problem statement, goal statement, etc. Correct? Now let me cover something called SIPOC today. Okay, so I'm not taking project charter because we have already covered that. Okay, and it's a simpler tool. Of course, it's important, but simpler to understand. You can easily understand from the tool. So now let me just talk about SIPOC. Okay, you can just type SIPOC in the chat box. SIPOC. SIPOC. What is SIPOC? SIPOC meaning supplier, input, process, output, and the customer. Let's take a simple example. Okay, let's take a simple example of tea making process. Tea making process. Very simple example so that everybody can understand. So I generally take a very generic example so everybody can appreciate this. Okay. Now, SIPOC is one tool which I found very, very profound when it comes to understanding of your own process. Okay. If you do SIPOC properly for your own process, your own understanding of your own process can go to the next level. Even though you are experienced for 10 years, 15, 20 years, just do SIPOC and your understanding will go to the next level. Okay. Let's talk about process of tea making. So we are making the SIPOC of tea making process. Very simple process which we do day in, day out in our kitchen. Correct. So the first process step is, let's say we call it as boil the water. I'm just giving a very brief overview of it. Okay. After boiling the water, we will add all the ingredients including milk, sugar, masala, tea powder, all those stuff, right? After that, we filter it and serve it. Let's say these are the three major steps in tea making process. Now, for every process step, there are some inputs and there is the output of that particular process. For example, let's talk about the input of boiling the water. What could be the input? First is water. Then that kettle, we can say the kettle or the pot, right? The utensil. Then the gas. Then the lighter. All these are the inputs, correct? Then who is the supplier? So every input has got a supplier. So water can be, let's say the society in which you stay. So the society will become your immediate supplier of water. Kettle can be from the vendor. Gas from the, if you are using a gas pipeline, it can be a gas company, which is, let's say, for example, in Mumbai, we have Mahanagar Gas, or there are multiple gas companies. So Mahanagar is one of them. So this is where you have to identify. Lighter again from the vendor. Then what is the output of this process? Water boiled is the output. All right. And now imagine, let's say, a tea stall vendor. Okay, there is a tea stall vendor who is making a cup of tea or making tea here. So right now, there is for this particular step, the customer will be the tea stall vendor itself. Okay. Then comes adding ingredients. Now, which ingredients do we add here? We add, let's say, milk, and then sugar, and then tea powder, and then, the ginger, and all those masalas and all those stuff, whatever you want to add. And, those respected vendors would be, for each and every input, there will be vendors, right? So separate vendors. And the output would be ingredients added. Again, the customer will be tea vendor itself, because you have not given it to the final customer. Correct? So tea vendor will be the customer. Then the final is filtering and serving. So you have a filter, let's say, for example, or a sieve, yes, and a cup you require as the input. A cup is required. Correct? Again, respected vendors would be the suppliers. Correct? So after this process, hot refreshing cup of tea, hot cup of tea served is the output. and that will go to the final customer who will consume this, right? So this is a very brief outline of the SIPOC. Are you clear? Just give me yes in the chat box. Are you clear with this? Just give me yes. So similarly, when we select a project, we identify the boundary of the process in which we have to focus. Okay, and accordingly, we make a SIPOC like this. Consider output of the first process, input of the second one. Yes, you can do that. Okay, but again, we have to check accordingly. Okay, see, now this is a very simple process. In reality, the process could be a little complex. There could be some parallel processes as well. So you need to check accordingly. All right. Very good. Simple. So what are the objectives of the SIPOC? What are we getting out of SIPOC? First objective. Okay. SIPOC defines the boundary of the project. Let's say, for example, if I have to improve the test of the T, let's say, test of the T. Okay. Isn't it the only process I have to focus? These are the steps because I'm focusing on the test of the T. This is the boundary I have to put my complete focus. This is the in scope of the process. Are you clear? Just give me yes. So it defines the boundary of the project. Clear? Just give me yes. Affecting the process to the defect, not the whole process flow. We should select only affecting process to the defect. No. What we are doing here, that's a good question. So what Girishji is asking is, shall we consider only that part which is creating the defect, or we should focus on the entire defect? See, my take to that is, because the roots, if it is sequential operation, the roots, wherever the root causes are starting, understand this. Okay, from the source of the root causes, you should consider the process. If it is from the raw material, you should consider from the raw material. Even though the defects are manifesting at the end of the process, we should start from the raw material itself. Are you understanding? That's why selecting the boundary of the SIPOC is very, very important. Very good question, by the way. Okay. Yes. Super. Now, so first is selecting the boundary. Second is, there is something called stakeholders, which the next topic which I'm going to talk about is stakeholder management. What are stakeholders? Stakeholders are nothing but the people, the departments who are impacting or getting impacted because of this project. I repeat again. Okay. The stakeholders are the people who are impacting or getting impacted. All the people, department, function who are involved in this entire project are called stakeholders. So if you see very closely, the first column called supplier and the fifth column called customer, all the people listed here are the stakeholders. Yes or no? For example, let's take an example. Let's say milk vendor. Okay. One fine day, that milk vendor, instead of cow milk, he has given the buffalo milk. Will the test change? Yes or no? Will the test change? Yes or no? Everybody. So he has got a potential to impact the test. Correct? The tea, on the other side, the tea vendor, the customer, these are the important stakeholders. Yes? Correct? So everybody has an important role to play. So while selecting the project team members, we have to select from here. So SIPOC will help us in that. Thirdly, so first is boundary, second is stakeholder. Thirdly, it connects, it gives all the inputs. For example, if you see the column number 2, you will find all the input parameters. Everybody knows y is equal to function of x, right? So all these input factors you can get in the column called inputs. Now, when you will go to the analysis phase tomorrow, when we'll do cause and effect, fishbone, etc. Okay, all the inputs you will find in SIPOC itself. If you have done the SIPOC properly, you can find all the list of the factors, effective factors here itself. So this is a very important tool called SIPOC in our defined phase. Clear, everybody? SIPOC clear? Just give me yes. SIPOC clear? Super. Very nice. Thank you very much. Let me talk about. So now let me just touch upon stakeholder analysis, which is a very important tool. And then we will, it's the communication plan and the RACI metric, which I will touch upon quickly, and then we'll take a quick break. Okay. Super. We should cover only internal processes and supplier processes if one supplier is culprit. Now, that's a very good question again, Girish. Should we consider the supplier processes? Is it in your control? Can you control supplier process? Then you can consider that. Okay. If you're only controlling the output of the supplier, then only internal quality check, incoming quality check is the only way you can find out whether that's who is the culprit supplier. Okay. Right. So what is your scope in that? How much influence you have on the supplier? Okay. For example, the automotive sector. Automotive sector, a lot of people, just this is for just information, they help to build the tier 1 and tier 2 supplier base. Suppliers are the vendors who supply them the material, and automotive companies assemble that. Are you understanding? Now, the quality of the vendor impacts their automobile product. Let's say somebody is making piston cylinder. If the piston cylinder assembly is not up to the mark, it will have impact on the quality of that automobile, right? So these companies, the OEMs, make the suppliers companies, they define their SOPs, define their quality standard, everything they set up. I'm talking about the class 1 companies. They do all these things. So they set up tier 1 supplier, tier 2 supplier, and they have the access to their ERP systems, etc. So a very strong control mechanism. In that case, you can involve the supplier directly into your SIPOC. But you don't have any control as such. Only thing is that whatever supplier is sending, you are just checking and incoming quality check kind of thing. Then that much of you should put. So whatever you are following, you have to put it in the SIPOC. Yeah. Thank you very much. Yeah, customer specific requirement. Okay, you're from automotive. Huh? Very good. Automotive supplier organization. Superb. Good. Okay, coming back to stakeholder analysis, very, very important. Now, stakeholders, I've already defined the company departments who are impacting or getting impacted due to project. Okay, now what happens is their involvement in the project is very, very important. If their involvement is not there, the project can go, on the toss. So we have to measure. And again, this is one of the tools very, very nicely designed. Understand this? Now, let me ask you a question. Just forget about this tool just for 1 minute. Let's say if, you are a cricket team captain, just give, let's discuss about it. Some people are giving their 100%, but some people are not giving their 100%. They are holding themselves back. Hota hai ki nahi aisa? Just give me yes or no. In your team also, yes, there are few people who would be giving their 100%, 200%, but there are few people who will not be giving their 100%. But how you will gauge this? The people involvement or engagement, how you will gauge it? Very interesting, no? Very interesting. See, as a project team, we have to perform as a team, as a unit, as a group together. But how do you come to know that person A is performing to his potential, but person B is not? How do you base it? It's very subjective, right? On the face, that person will say, yes, I will support you, I will give you, but in action, it will not reflect. That's why this entire stakeholder analysis tool has been designed. If the team is not supporting, you can highlight this through this. Okay, how it is done? So here you can see the commitment levels are marked like supportive, compliant, indifferent, uncooperative, opposing, hostile. Now these are just these are just reference values. Okay, you can change these values, make it simpler or different. Okay, on the horizontal axis you have these stakeholders: sales department, management, employees, customers, supplier. These are various stakeholders of the project. Now, P stands for present level of commitment and R stands for required level of commitment. For example, let's look at this. First is sales department. For that particular project, sales department presently is opposing the project. Ideally, they should be compliant. Compliant meaning they should follow the rules, regulation, instruction given to them. But they are not doing that. They are opposing the project. Now, understand this. Our role is to gauge on the basis of their actions and not the verbal commitment. You will find a lot of people giving verbal commitments that, we will support you, we will give you this, we will give you that. But when it comes to action, it goes flat, right? So this is very important. Opposing. Now, the reasons could be different. I'll give you a scenario. Okay, one of the department in one of the company, one of the project, one department was not supporting. When we went inside the detailing of that, we identified that department was struggling with attrition percentage, huge attrition. People were leaving the companies, resigning and leaving. Okay, yeah, that's what I'm talking about. So they were resigning and leaving. And because of which, whatever people left, they were doing their job, plus the additional burden of the project was put to them. That's what they were opposing. Are you understanding the scenario? So it's all about the scenarios. We don't know the background story of them, why they are opposing. Okay, or in one of the company, there were 5 straight years, there was no increment done in the salary. So there was huge, what you can say, unrest among the employees. And over and above, management gave them the project. All right, so they were not supportive. Are you understanding? So these are some of the scenarios. Kiranji, so these could be various reasons why people can. Another example I'll give. This happened in Indonesia when we were doing a project in Indonesia. And, in the improve phase, we put some sensors and encoders. Okay, now sensors are, okay, no, opposed to the project is not positive. It is always, see, we want everybody should be in the same direction. If we are going in this direction and other people are going in this direction, then it will be clash, right? So our momentum will be lost. So this example of Indonesian company, so we put a sensor just to, to read the speed of the machine, etc., whatever. These people, the employees in the night shift, cut the wires, cables, and, disturb the sensor, the settings, etc. Why? Because they had fear in their mind that if this works, they might lose their job. Are you understanding? So there could be so many reasons of the oppose. We need to identify what are the reasons and take them slowly upwards. Okay, so our role is whoever are opposing, whoever are not cooperating, to take them to compliant and supporter level. This is the actual role of the project leader. And this stakeholder analysis is a very, very, very important tool to, now how do we use this tool? Yeah. How do we use this tool? This tool is a scorecard. Okay. There is a subjectivity, as I said, whether the team member is supportive or not, it is very difficult. So this tool gives us a little base of it. Okay. But this is just a scorecard of it, a brief scorecard. What needs to be done at your level is communication. Okay. I will take a separate session on the communication. How you should communicate difficult situations. Okay. It's a very, very important lesson. As a leader, you need to communicate in a different way. You need to show some empathy. right? You should understand their frequency, their pain. All right. Listen to them. Communication does not mean only speaking, speaking, speaking. It's all about listening more, understanding. Right. So all this stuff is very, very important. Once you can see, there are some limitations you also as a project leader would have. If you cannot handle that, it can be, you can escalate to the top management. If some person is not cooperative, maybe you can replace that person from the team as well. Like if somebody is not performing, we remove the person from the team. That also needs to be done. So this is called stakeholder analysis, very important tool in this entire journey of define. Lean Six Sigma define. Is clear everybody? Just give me yes in the chat box. यहाँ तक clear है सब कुछ? Just give me a quick yes. Very important, very nice tool. Okay. Then let me talk about RACI metrics. Okay, RACI metrics and communication plan. I'll just speak for a couple of minutes and then we will take a quick break of it. Okay. Now, what is RACI metric? RACI stands for responsible, accountable, consulted, C for consulted, and I for informed. Now, let me explain you one by one. What is responsible and accountable? Let's, in a cricket match, the batsmen are responsible for making runs. Bowlers are responsible for taking wickets. Fielders are responsible to restrict the runs. These are responsibilities, but the accountability of the result lies with the captain and the coach. Are you understanding the difference? There is a responsibility and there is accountability. Are you clear? Just give me yes in the chat box. Clear? So in this project, the team members are responsible for collecting the data, performing in the brainstorming sessions, suggesting the ideas, finding out the causes, root causes, do the hypothesis regression, So all these things are responsibility. Accountability of this lies with the project leader and the champion. Champion is the head of the department where the project is being performed. That person is called champion. So leader is just like a captain and champion is just like a coach. Okay. So this is called responsibility and accountability. What is consulted and informed? Let me give you an example, consulted and informed. Okay. For example, let's say there is a master black belt or a consultant. Okay. And there is a CFO who is, I can say it is a champion. CFO is Chief Finance Officer. Okay. So he is from the top management. And MBB is a Lean Six Sigma expert. Now during the project, let's say you are doing hypothesis testing ANOVA and you are stuck. You don't know how to deal with this. So who do you consult? Type in the chat box. Do you go to MBB or do you go to CFO? Who do you consult with? Type in the chat box. Everybody. Very, very simple. You go to master black belt, right? Whenever you have a Lean Six Sigma related query, you go to master. Just like in our, what you can say, community. Whenever you get stuck in any study or any project, etc., you come to me. You come to the mentors. You send a message on the WhatsApp message, right? The mentors. Similar. Now, the second question. Now you have identified a solution that you need to automate certain process, which requires investment of 2 crore rupees. Now, who do you consult with? Do you consult with Master Black Belt or do you consult with CFO? CFO. Are you understanding? So this is what is consulted. So you define who do you consult very clearly in the project. And I for inform, meaning in this process, you need to inform, the process owner, the process leader, the champions, the team members, etc. Okay, the suppliers, the customers, all the stakeholders, basically, you have to be informing them the progress, etc., etc., etc. That's right. So this is called RACI metrics, and the example has been given over there. Okay. For example, leading the fund raising, owning the process. This is accountability of the leadership, the top management. Okay. Identifying the project. Again, this is responsibility, right? selecting the project, again, accountable. So identifying is the pull of the project, selecting is the finalizing the project. Okay. So this is how, all this entire matrix has been formed. Okay. It's called RACI matrix. And finally, it is called as communication plan. Communication plan is nothing but how do each and every stakeholder communicate with each other. Okay. For example, communication can be email communication. During the project, how do you communicate with each other? It could be email communication. It could be the review meetings. It could be, it could be the phase-wise approval report. Okay, there is something called traffic light report, which we send it to the top management as a project leader about the progress of the project, about any kind of support required or any kind of hindrances you are finding out. Okay, so that can be communicated through this. So this is the communication plan basically, which also is a very, very important tool to be considered. Okay, so this is what we encompass in the green belt define phase. See, define phase remains more or less common for green belt and the black belt level. There is no much change in the define phase. Okay, so these are the basic tools which we cover in the define phase. Are you clear, everybody? Just give me yes in the chat box. We'll take a break on this point right now. It is already 8:35. We'll take a quick 10 minutes break and we'll come back at 8:45 sharp. Okay, when we'll come back, you have to type I am back in the chat at 8:45 sharp, and then we will start our measure phase after that. All right. Super. Measure phase will cover 50% portion or whatever we can cover up to maybe 9:30 or so, and we'll close the session. All right. Yeah. No, after 10 minutes break, Sudharji. Okay. Okay, chalo. So let's take a break for 10 minutes. We'll be back exactly at 8:45. Okay. Yeah. Just have a cup of coffee or tea and sit back again. All the best. Okay, if you're back, please type I am back in chat so that we can start the session and complete the session on time. All right, may I have the confirmations from you guys? Super, super. Thank you very much. All right, so after a hot, refreshing cup of tea or coffee, let's start the next part of it, of the today's session, which is the major phase. Very important phase of this. Now understand this. See, define phase is all about defining the project. Major phase is all about collecting the data and information about the project. Okay. So in the major phase, the tagline is whatever we don't measure, we can't improve. It's very simple. Okay. You can't manage or improve what you don't measure. First, start measuring it. And that's what we do. So what do we measure first of all? That's the question. So here we go. There are three different types of measure we have. One is called input, then the process, and the third is output measure. Okay, let's take the same example of test of tea. If you want to improve the taste of tea, the same cypop we have made. Okay, so what in the input measure, what can we measure? So we can measure quantity and quality of water, quality of milk, or the tea powder, quantity or quality of sugar. We can measure that. See, measure meaning whatever we can count, measure, so that we can do some analysis of that. Okay. Then what could be the process measure? The temperature we use. Okay. The time we are boiling that entire, what you can say, mixture. Then stirring, if you are stirring the entire mixture, how much time are we stirring? Okay, that is the process measures. And what are the output measures? Output measures are test. What comes at the end of it is test, turnaround time, again, the temperature of the final cup of tea. That can also be output measure. So this is called input, process, and the output measure. Okay, let's do in the type in the chat box. Give me one input measure, one process measure, and one output measure for your own process. Type in the chat box quickly, so that it would give me the confirmation that you have understood this. Okay, give me one input measure. Now, measure has to be measurable. Either you should measure it or you should be able to count it. Okay, type in the chat box, everybody. You can give the rating as well, okay? But it should be measurable. Give me one input, one process, one output measure from your process. Yeah, just type just like this. I dash, put your input measure, P meaning process measure, put that, and O for output, like that. I for input, P for process, and O for output. Very good. So I is input measures the color. Very nice. So you measure the color of the incoming product. Very nice. Temperature is a process measure. Fantastic. And what is the output measure do you measure of the product or service? Is the density. Fantastic. Superb. So that you have connected this concept very well. Very good. Very good. So let me super. So I'm just copying Rituji's response. I for color, input is color, P for temperature, and O is density. Output is density. Okay. So you can just refer that. So ऐसे इस प्रकार चल रहा है. Okay. I is exam, P is result, O is performance. No. So what I would say, I can be, what I would say is I would be the study time. can be the input. Okay. The process can be examination, and the result could be the output measure. So resulting performance is the same thing, right? So what is the percentage marks you have scored? That is the result, which is the which is the measurable aspect. Now, exam may be what will be the input, what will be the measurable aspect? The time you have spent it in the exam. Okay, right? Let's say 3 hour exam is there. Out of 3 hours, how much time you have spent? That can be a measure during the examination. That can be a process measure. Clear? Yes, everybody clear about it? Just give me yes in the chat box. Input process, output measure is clear? Yeah. Anybody who is struggling for that, let me know. Okay, sales में क्या है? Input measure is the lead. Okay, number of leads can be input measure. All right. Number of calls you are making to generate the leads, number of calls you are making to convert the leads. It's a process measure as well. And the final amount of customers you are getting. Okay. Yeah, simple. Deveji, it's very simple example of the tea making process of our project, right? The same SIPOC we have made. So what is the input measure in the tea making process? Now here we are talking about measure because we are in the measure phase. Whatever we measure, we can improve. If you do not measure, we can't improve that. Very simple. This is the basic fundamental. If you cannot measure, understand this. If you don't measure your weight regularly, you can't control it. If you don't, measure your cholesterol level, you can't control it. If you don't measure your expenses, you can't control it. Okay? Okay? Yeah. Yeah, Tika. Education के लिए, so I think one example was, who has given that example? Okay, you only. So for education, what I said, input measure could be, let's say, for example, if a person or a student is preparing for the examination. So what will be the input measure for this? His preparation time. How much time he's studying every day. Okay, that can be an input measure. Okay. Yeah, number of questions can be also input measure, which is going inside. Time for now time for examination, can it be a process measure or an input measure? It can be a process measure as well, because now examination can be a process. So input is your preparation, can be the input. Examination is a process, and output is a result. So the percentage marks scored is the output measure, in which we can get whether he has performed well or not. Okay. Process measured me, yes. How many questions he has answered, he or she has answered. How much time he has spent in the examination hall out of 3 hours, let's say. The person is sat for entire 3 hours, or he has just left the hall within couple of hours. That also is a process measure, right? So this is how we have to measure. In each and every element you have to measure. Okay, defect you can measure, the time you can measure. So these major things will give us lot of information which we can correlate. Okay, for example, now let's say the person who is spending less time in the examination hall, then you can easily correlate. Okay, that's why he might be scoring less. So there is a correlation between that amount of time spent in the exam and the mark score. But to establish the correlation, you should get some information, get some data. And that's what we are collecting here. Clear, everybody? Just give me yes. Everybody is clear about input, process, output. You can correlate with your own process now. Yes? Very good, very good, very good. Anybody who requires this, please let me know, okay? Yes. Inbound process. So what is the process? That is very, very important. So incoming, let's say, for example, incoming quality. Incoming quality check can be one of the inbound process, right? Okay. So that can be incoming quality check output can be measurable at what is the percentage rejection in incoming? That can be what is the incoming material turnaround time, lead time of incoming material delivery? That can be a measure. Okay, so it can be a qualitative measure, it can be quantitative measure, it can be a delivery measure. So how much performance of inbound process you can measure, that is your input measure. Okay. Yeah. Now, when you collect the data, there will be two types of data you will collect. One is continuous and one is discrete data. Continuous and discrete. Now, what is continuous? What is discrete? Just try to understand this. Okay. There is something data which we can measure. Okay. And there is some data which we can count. I'll give you an example. When we say go and measure the weight, do we say go and count the weight? Are you understanding? Whenever we go and measure, that is called a continuous data. That is on a continuous scale. For example, 10.1, 10.2, 10.3, 10.5, 10.9, 11, 11.1, 11.2, 11.4, 11.5, 11.9, 12. On a continuous scale, we can measure. We can measure the weight, length, height, distance, the speed, temperature. These are measured on a continuous scale. Whenever it is measurable, it is continuous. Whenever it is countable, for example, number of people in the room, do we measure or do we count? We count. That is a discrete data. Yes or no, accept, reject. How many accepted, how many rejected? That is a count data. That is a discrete data. Are you clear? So length, weight, height, weight is a continuous data. Male, female, accept, reject, pass, fail is a discrete data where we count. Okay. Generally, the continuous data is it can be shown on the decimal scale as well. Like for example, 10.1, 10.2. This is 10.2. This is a measurable data. It is a continuous data. Count is 1, 2, 3, 4 like that. So decimals are not there in the discrete data. On the continuous data, the decimals will be there. I'll give you an example here. Let's say I am a quality inspector in a chocolate manufacturing company. I'm just giving you a simple example. And my specification is minimum 10 grams chocolate weight should be there. If it is less than 10 gram, I have to reject it. Okay. So first I will check the weight, let's say, and then whether it is accept or reject, I have to decide. Okay. For example, so first chocolate I will take, the weight is 10.1. I will accept it. Second is 10.0. Still I will accept it because it is acceptable. Third is 9.9. I will reject it. Second is 10.2. I will accept it. Now, out of 4, so what I've done is 1 rejected. So 3 accepted, 1 rejected. So this is called discrete data and this is called continuous data. Are you clear with this? Just give me yes in the chat box. This is called discrete data. Clear hai everybody? Just give me yes. So continuous meaning weight is continuous data, right? When you weigh something, 10.1, 10.2, 10.3, on a continuous scale you can measure. Let's say height of the person. All right. Now, we measure the height. Understand this. We don't count the height. Are you understanding this? Understand this only difference. We measure the height. The same. Subconsciously also we follow the system. We measure the height. Wherever it is measurement, it is a continuous data. Whenever it is count data, it is discrete data. So weight is measurable. We weigh the, we measure the weight. And now on the other side, I'm counting how many chocolates have accepted, how many chocolates I've rejected. I'm counting, that is a discrete data. So weight is continuous data and accept reject is discrete data. Prabhakar, are you clear with this? Just give me yes. Clear? Very good. Now, in your process, give me one example of continuous data. Give me one example of discrete data, if you have. Okay, just like this. Write C and give me example. Write D. D for discrete and give me example. Like this. Weight I've given you. If in your process, just connect with your own process. And then this is accept or reject wala data. Is it discrete? Just like that. Just type in the chat box. Very good. Very good. C is continuous is viscosity. So you are measuring the viscosity. Absolutely right. What is a discrete? Any example of discrete you have in your process? Type in the chat box. Think about it. See, this is where you should connect the concept with this. That's what I said. Understand the concept, connect with your own process. That's how your understanding will go to the next level. Any count data you have, number of products accepted, number of products rejected. That can be a, okay, discrete is go, no go, and diameter 20.5. Very good. That's a continuous data. Then marks obtained, number of failures in the class. Okay, very good. Super. What else? What else? Yeah, everybody, can you just give me one example so that you can, I'll get a confidence that you have understood this concept. Yeah, average call handling time, very good, continuous data. Number of calls, very good. The number of calls is the count. How many number of calls you have received? Very nice. It's a discrete data. Very good. Super. So I think it is clear. From your answers, I can understand that you are clear. Okay. Yeah, weight of the apple, very good example. Weight of the apple is a continuous data. Number of apples is a discrete data. Isn't it very nicely given by Pratik? Thank you very much. Weight of the apple. Okay, 10 grams, 10.5 grams is the weight of the apple. And then number of apples, 12 apples, 5 apples, 6 apples is the number of apples. Okay, very good. Chalo. Now let's understand this. Whenever you have, let me just touch upon, whenever you have discrete data, okay, try to understand this. Let's take the same example of chocolate weight. Okay, you on one side you have the weight 10.1, 10.2, 9, etc. And on the other side you have a data like accept, reject. Which data gives you more information? C or D? Type in chat box. C is continuous, D is discrete. Which data gives you more information? Type in the chat box. Everybody. Think and give the answer. Okay. Is it continuous data gives you more information or discrete data gives you more information? Think about it and give me the answer. Continuous or discrete? I'll give you another example. I have given you the percentage or the mark scored and pass and fail. Which will give you more information? I'm driving, my dashboard is showing the tank is empty and full, and vis-a-vis my dashboard is showing 20.5 liters petrol. Which will give you more information? Yes. And no, understand this. Always continuous data gives you more information. Write this down. Because with that information, we can do lot of things, lot of analysis. Accept, reject, pass, fail will give us limited information. Pass meaning, let's say for example, somebody has scored 10% marks who is failed. Somebody has scored 35% mark who is also failed, or 34% who is also failed. So failed meaning what is, but instead of that, you know the percentage marks or the marks scored, you get more information, isn't it? Accept, reject, empty, full, it's a discrete data. So discrete will give us limited information, continuous will give us. Now if I have 10 chocolates weight, I can do the trend chart, no? I can do a histogram. Are you understanding? But accept, reject, out of 10, only 2 rejected and 8 accepted. That will give a limited information. So always over continuous and discrete, always prefer a continuous data over a discrete data. Understand this? Okay, and whenever possible, try to convert that into continuous data. Just like, for example, accept, reject. Instead of accept and reject, collect the data of the weight itself. That will give you more information. Are you clear this point? Just give me yes in the chat box. Are you clear? So from the continuous data, we can do lot of statistical analysis. हम लोग मिनिटैप का यूज कर सकते हैं कंटिन्यूस डेटा के साथ, डिस्क्रीट के साथ भी कर सकते हैं, but that will be very limited. Are you understanding? Tomorrow we are going to have Minitab exercises. Okay, so tomorrow come with Minitab. We'll do a lot of fun with Minitab. Okay, very good. Now let's quickly introduce some theory today, and tomorrow we'll do the practicals. Okay. Now when it comes to statistics, what is statistics? I've defined statistics very simple as science which converts data into information. See, our brain cannot comprehend the data, but if the data is converted into meaningful graphs, some statistics, that will give us information which can be used for our business decision making. Okay, so statistics is a science which converts data into information, meaningful, manageable information, which is useful for us. Okay, now when it comes to statistics, there are two types of statistics. One is called descriptive statistics, and other one is called inferential statistics. Okay, descriptive and inferential. Let me explain you this today. When we see a cricket match, okay, after, let's say, there is a T20 match, 20-over cricket match, after 5 overs, the score is, let's say, 40 runs and 1 wicket. Okay, this is a current score. This is called descriptive statistics. It is about a sample of 5 overs. Out of 20 overs, this is a small portion of 5 overs. And this is the current scenario. It is called descriptive statistics. In the same match, after 5 overs, you will see a projected score. Yes or no? Have you seen a projected score? Just give me a yes. Okay. So there you will see a projected score like 160 runs or 170 runs. After 20 over, what is the expected score? That is called projected score. And that is called inferential statistics. This is about the entire population of 20 overs. Sample is a subset of the population. Sample is 5 overs and population is 20 overs. So projected score is inferential statistics and 5 overs is the descriptive statistics. Okay. So let's say we have 10,000 students in SNG community and it's called population. It is, population of SNG. Out of it, let's say 100 people are sitting in the room right now. It is a sample of the entire population. Okay, so population sample clear. So statistics which talks about the sample is called descriptive. A statistics which talks about the population is called inferential. From a sample, we conclude about the population. In real life also, let's say when we cook the rice in the pressure cooker or in the pot, okay, so once, whether it is cooked properly or not, we take a small sample, we crush it and take the feel whether it is clearly, cooked or not. So that is sample. We don't take the entire population, we don't take the entire lot of rice and crush it just to check whether it is right. We take a small sample. Similarly, in the quality check also, we take a small sample and accordingly we infer about the population. Are you clear about population and sample, descriptive and inferential? Just give me yes in the chat box with these examples. Clear? Very simple. Descriptive is about the sample. Inferential is about what we predict about the population. I'll give you another example. When we are not well, the doctor suggests us to do the blood checking, okay, blood testing, just to check the infection, what kind of infection we are having. So let's say in a body, we have 5 to 6 liters of blood in our entire body, human body. That's the entire population. But do we take out the entire population? No. We take a small sample of the blood and in the analyzer, they analyze what is the, WBC and RBC count and all the infection, all the details. That is the sample. That is, so the report we get is the descriptive statistic. And from that descriptive statistic, doctor gives us the prescription. So he, what you can say, infer that the entire body is infected because of this virus. And then the medication happens, prescribed. Okay. It is called inferential statistics. So descriptive is the blood report. Okay. Are you clear with this example as well? So when it comes to descriptive statistic, there are two parts. One is called central tendency. Another is called dispersion. This is very interesting. Okay. Yes. Now, let me give you an example. Let's take the same example of cricket match. Now, there is a cricket match and the selection committee is in dilemma whether to select. There are two players. One is Rishabh Pant and one is KL Rahul. Okay. And there is a T20 match. So first they collect the data of Rishabh Pant and collect the data of KL Rahul. And the average, okay, let me write in the horizontal. Let's say this is Pant and this is Rahul. R for Rahul, P for Pant. Okay. So the average, which is X bar, average is denoted by X bar. Okay. Of Rishabh Pant is 30 runs and KL Rahul is also 30 runs. So both are averages same. So then they find out a standard deviation, which is sigma. Rishabh Pant's standard deviation is 10 runs and KL Rahul's standard deviation is 2 runs. What does it mean? If I draw a bell-shaped curve, the data of Rishabh Pant, it will look like this, where the average, the center is at 30. And if I draw a bell-shaped curve of Rahul, it will look like this, where the average is 30 only, but see the difference in the data distribution. Where more the variation, more will be the standard deviation. Less the variation, less will be the standard deviation. How many of you got it? Just type yes in the chat box. How many of you got it? Just give me yes. Clear hai? So Rishabh Pant is having more variation. Sometimes he score, 1 run, 2 runs. Sometimes he score 50 runs. Huge variation. But KL Rahul is very consistent. He will score between 28 and 32. Very consistent. 28, 32, 28, 30, 32, 28, 30. So it's very consistent in that band. That's why the standard deviation is very low. Are you understanding? Who would you select as a selection committee? Who would you select? Would you select Rishabh Pant or would you select KL Rahul? Just put P or R in the chat box. Got it? Average same. They're average same. But if you only select on in the base of average, you will not be able to take the decision. Then you take the standard deviation, the variation, the consistency. Now, consistency, Rishabh Pant is not very predictable, but KL Rahul is predictable. Now, let's say there is another school of thought. Let's say I want somebody who can make more runs, even if he gets out in something that is okay. Then you will go for Rishabh Pant as well. Okay, in the test match cricket, you'll go for KL Rahul. You want a consistent, stable person who can stay there, stable, and make more runs, consistent. Okay. So, central tendency. So, when it comes to X bar, I'm talking about the central tendency. Where is the center of the data? And when I'm talking about standard deviation, the dispersion, how much the data is spread across, I'm measuring the dispersion. Are you understanding? So, the descriptive statistic, we measure central tendency and the dispersion. So, X bar is the central tendency, CT, and the standard deviation is about the dispersion. Yahan tak sab kuch clear hai, everybody with me? And both are very important. Central tendency and dispersion, both parameters are very important. Just give me C for clear, everybody. When we collect the data, we measure the center of the data and the data distribution, the dispersion of the data. Both are very important. Don't rely on only distribution and don't rely on only central tendency. Both are very important. Okay. So now when it comes to central tendency, we have mean, mode, median. When it comes to dispersion, we have range, variance, standard deviation. So we'll understand this and then we'll close the day today. Okay. Now, let's come to mean, mode, and median. So this is what it is explained. Let's come to first the central tendency, mean. Mean is simple arithmetic mean, simple average. Okay, you add the number of data points divided by number of data points. Okay, add the data divided by number of data points, like just like this. There are 5 data points of the production, and they have divided by 5 is equal to 615. So average daily production is 650. Simple average. Okay. Then comes the mode. What is mode? Mode is nothing but the maximum frequently occurring value in the data set. For example, look at this. Just observe this data set and tell me which data is maximum occurring value here. Type in the chat box, everybody. Which data is maximum occurring, multiple times occurring? Type in the chat box. Not the highest. I'm not talking about highest and lowest. Highest is 90. No. Maximum occurring value. Yes, it is 75. You can see 75, 75, and 75. So 3 times 75 is occurring. So the mode is 75. Are you understanding? Okay. So when it comes to the data distribution, okay, like this. So this is the highest type of frequency. Okay. Maximum type, which is occurring, that value is called mode. Okay. Now, okay, in the same note, let's say, for example, let's say 80 is 2 times, right? Let's say there is another 80 here. In that case, what will be the mode then? Now you have 75 also 3 times and 80 also 3 times. So in that case, what is the mode? Type in chat box, think about it. Do we take average? No. In that case, we don't take the average of that. In that case, we have 2 modes, which is 75 and 80. And it's called as bimodal distribution. Very good. Yeah, so the people who have already learned this, it is called bimodal distribution. If I draw this, it would look like a camel back. So this will be 75 and this will be 80. And both frequency at 3. Okay, 1, 2, and 3. If I have to draw, this is 1, this is 2, and this is 3. So it will look like this. Okay, this is 3 times. Are you clear, everybody? Just give me yes. समझ में आ रहा है? It will look like a camel back. It's called bimodal distribution. But this is not the normal distribution. Even though it looks symmetrical, but it is not normal. Normal distribution always has only one mode. Normal distribution is called unimodal distribution. Uni meaning one. Okay. Now, what if all the data points have equal amount of frequency? For example, 75 2 times, 62 times, 65 2 times, 75 2 times. Everything is 2 times. In that case, what will be the mode? Type in the chat box. If all the data, for example, let's say it will look like this. Okay. 1, 2, let's say every data point is of the same frequency of 3. So the distribution will look like this. Multimodal. Okay. Yes, anybody? It is called as uniform distribution. Uniform distribution. Okay. Where the frequency is uniform across all the data points. Okay. But this is also not normal distribution. Normal distribution looks like this. Clear? Anyway, mode is clear. Mode is the frequency, maximum frequently occurring value. Then comes the median. What is median? Median is nothing but if you arrange the data set in ascending and descending order. This is a data set. I arrange it in ascending order. What lies in the center is called median. What lies in the center is called median. So in this case, 19 is the median. Okay. Now understand this. Have you heard about percentile? You would have heard about percentile in the the examinations results, CET, JEE results, okay, percentiles are calculated. What is percentile basically? Okay, let's try to understand percentile in a very simplistic manner. See, what we do, we cover statistics in a very simplistic manner. Okay, this is not percentage. A percentage is simple, divided by 100. Out of 100, how much? It's percent. But I'm talking about percentile. What is percentile? Just try to understand this. Let's take a simple example of, imagine I have a cake, horizontal cake like this. Just like we have the bread, no? Bread, okay? Sliced bread. So imagine you have a cake, just like a bread, but it's not yet sliced, okay? And there are 100 people in the room, 100 people in the room, and you have to divide this entire cake into 100 equal pieces. Okay, so how many cuts you have to make? Type in the chat box. How many cuts you have to make it 100 equal pieces? Everybody type in the chat box. 99 cuts, correct? At least 99 cuts you have to make. So these, every cut is called a percentile. Imagine if this is a data set from lowest value to the highest value. If you arrange it and you divide it in equal 100 pieces, so 99 cuts you have to make. So every cut is called a percentile. Just for a conceptual understanding. Now, the same analogy, use it for something called quartile. See why I'm talking about? Tomorrow you will understand this. What is quartile? Let's say instead of 100, I want to cut these pieces, cut this cake into 4 equal parts. So how many cuts I have to make? 1, 2, and 3. I have to make 3 cuts to make 4 parts, no? 1, 2, 3, and 4. Clear? Just like 100 parts, you have to make 99 cuts. Here, to make 4 parts, I have to make 3 cuts. So every cut becomes quartile. So for example, this becomes first quartile. This is second quartile. This is third quartile. Are you clear? This is first quartile. This is second quartile. This is third quartile. Yes? Percentile is if you want to divide into 100 equal parts, that is percentile. So you'll have 99 cuts, so you have 99 percentiles. Here, quartiles, you have 3 quartiles. First quartile, second quartile, third quartile. Clear? Now, understand this. Can we say, now listen to me very carefully. Can we say first quartile equals 25th percentile? Second quartile is nothing but 50th percentile, or third quartile is 75th percentile. Can we say that? Just focus and understand. Same analogy. Instead of quartile, we are just saying percentile. Can we say first quartile equals 25th percentile? Can we say second quartile equals 50th percentile? Can we say third quartile equals 75th percentile? Yes or no? Can we say second quartile or 50th percentile as a median, which is the central value if we arrange the data set, this one? Yes or no? So in this case, can we say this is first quartile Q1, this is second quartile Q2, and this is third quartile in this, and this is Q2 is nothing but the median. Just give me yes in the chat box. Clear hai? Just conceptually understand this. Tomorrow we will be discussing something called a box plot. Okay, in the Minitab में हम लोग box plot use करेंगे, उसमें हम लोग discuss करेंगे ये, ठीक है ना? Clear यहाँ तक? So mean, mode, median, percentile, quartile, clear? Just give me yes. Clear? हाँ, see for example, entrance exam में क्या होता है? There is a lowest value. Let's say somebody has scored 10 marks and somebody has scored, let's say 100 marks. So total there are 90 marks in between. And there are so many students. Are you understanding? So they will divide this into, let's say, 100. What is the maximum is 100. Let's say maximum is, let's say, imagine maximum is 98. 98. Okay. So they divide all the data points between 10 and 98 into equal 99 parts. And every part becomes one percentile. Clear? So that 98 becomes your 100. Highest scorer becomes the maximum marks. And lowest scorer becomes the lowest value. And that entire data set will be divided into 99 equal parts. That is how the percentile scores are calculated. Just for understanding. Clear? Just give me yes. Very good. Okay. Now coming back to, so this is a central tendency, mean, mode, median. Let's go back to the dispersion. Now the first dispersion measure is the range. What is the range? Simple. The lowest value is the highest value. Yes, failed and passed, everything. So lowest value से लेके highest value तक वो लेते हैं. Okay. Now coming back to range. What is the range? Lowest and the highest. What is the difference between these two? If Rishabh Pant has scored 0 run, Rishabh Pant has scored 80 runs. So what is the range? 80. KL Rahul has scored 30 runs. KL Rahul has scored 50 runs. What is the range? 20. So range is the data distribution. What is the lowest and the highest value is the range. The difference between these two. Okay. The next is variance and the standard deviation. And to understand variance and standard deviation, let's follow this 6-step process. So today we will understand standard deviation and then we will close the session today. Okay. So let's understand it manually. Do we have to calculate standard deviation manually? Never. But to understand standard deviation, I have made this step-by-step formula. एक बार हम लोग करेंगे, then we have Minitab with us. Okay, so whatever data we want to put, Minitab can give us the standard deviation very easy. Okay, now let's imagine the first step. Now we are understanding the standard deviation calculation, sigma. Okay, the first step is to collect the data. Imagine, let's say this is the weight of nursery students. I'm just giving you a very raw example. Okay, there are 5 students weight I've taken, 10, 12, 15, 18, 20. I've arranged in the ascending order. Okay, now I have taken the average. Averages, add all of them, divided by 5. So the average is 15. So the average weight of the children is 15 kilogram. Okay. Now from that average value, we will find out what is the deviation of each and every data point. For example, now this is very important. Everybody with me? First I've taken the data, then I've taken the average. Now from the average value, which is 15, I'm calculating the deviation. Deviation is nothing but the distance from the average. Okay. So from 15, what is the distance of 10? Let's say first value is 10, right? What is the distance of 15 and 10? Minus 5. So I'm writing minus 5 here. Let me write in white. Okay. So minus 5. What is the distance of 12 and 15? Minus 3. What is the distance of 15 and 15? 0. What is the distance of 18 and 15? Plus 3. What is the distance of 20 and 15? Plus 5. Now, can you take, so this is the deviation. Are you clear? Step number 3, we have calculated deviation from the average. Just give me yes in the chat box. All the 3 steps are clear? Just give me yes. Okay. Now, can you calculate the average deviation? Can you take the average of this? Just calculate the average quickly. Minus 5 plus minus 3 plus 0 plus 3 plus 5 divided by 5 and give me the answer. No, just take the simple average. Don't root, square root वगैरह कुछ नहीं. Just take the average of the deviation. Just give me the average. Yeah, everybody. What is the average? Average. Minus 5 minus plus minus 3 plus 0 plus 3 plus 5. What is the average of these five numbers? 15.6. Okay. What else? Everybody type. Take the average. Simple average. Calculator निकाल के करो. -5, -3, 0, 3 and 5. इसका एवरेज क्या है? I'm just waiting for everybody to answer this. -13.6. -5 -3. Okay, -8 plus 0 -8, right? Plus 3 becomes -5. -5 plus 5 becomes 0. So 0 divided by 5 becomes 0. So the average of these five values is 0. Everybody got it? Just give me yes in the chat box. Everybody? The average of these five values is 0 because minus and pluses are clashing with each other and the average is getting 0. But does it mean there is 0 deviation? No, right? There is a deviation. There is a distance, right? From the mean, there is a distance, there is a deviation. But it is not reflecting. No, I'm not taking the square. Square to next है ना. I've just calculated the step 3. Step 3 का average निकाला हम लोगों ने. Okay. Now, because the minus and pluses are clashing with each other, now the statisticians have suggested to take the square values of it. Why square values? Because square values are always positive values. -5 square is 25 and not -25, right? So now what they have suggested, take the square values of them. Okay. So -5 ka square is 25, -3 square is 9, 0 square is 0, 3 square is 9, and 5 square is 25. So 25 plus 9 plus 0 plus 9 plus 25. Now you can take the average of it. Can you calculate the average of this square deviation? Now it is coming to 13.6. Yes or no? The average of 25, 9, 0, 9, and 20 is 13.6. Everybody got the 13.6? This is called as variance, which is denoted by sigma square. It is denoted like this. You went to the next step. Exactly. Okay. Sigma square. All it is called as variance. Now, because we have taken a squared value, we have to take a square root of it. So can you just take a square root of 13.6? And that becomes the standard deviation. Can you tell me the value of 13.6 ka square root? You can use the calculator. What is the square root of 13.6? 3.68, is it? 3.68. So 3.68 becomes my standard deviation. Okay, now understand this. Understand this. Do you remember what is the data? The data was in kilogram, right? When the data is in kilogram, my sigma also will be in kilogram. Understand this. So what is standard deviation 3.68 meaning? The simple meaning of 3.68 is from the mean 15, each and every value, each and every data point is on an average 3.68 unit away. On an average, the distance of each and every value and the average is 3.68 units. Are you clear? This is called standard deviation. Average distance from the mean is called standard deviation. Write this down. Simplest understanding. Average distance from the mean is standard deviation. So more the distance, more the standard deviation. Lesser the distance, lesser the standard deviation. Clear? Just give me yes in the chat box. This 5-step process is clear. So I've just decoded the standard deviation for you. Do you have to remember everything? No, but you should understand at least once. Clear hai? Let me share with you this diagram. Look at this. So we have here n is equal to number of data points. Let's say 23 data points are there. Average is 5. X bar, you can see here, X bar is 5. Okay. And S is also, see, S is for the sample, standard deviation of the sample. Okay. And sigma is standard deviation of the population. Okay. So S and sigma is the same thing. So here the standard deviation is 1.75. You can see the curve. Okay, the variation. Now the same 23 data points, now we have reduced the variation. X bar, the central tendency the same, 5. But look at the standard deviation, it has reduced. You can see the variation is reduced. And look at the third scenario, the same data points, the same average, but the standard deviation is 0.85. You can see the variation is reduced further from this to this to this. This is how standard deviation is denoting the distribution. More the data spreaded, more will be standard deviation. Less data spreaded, less will be standard deviation. Are you clear? Just give me yes. So that we will discuss later. What is 5 sigma, 6 sigma, that I will discuss tomorrow. But are you clear with this standard deviation? More the data spreaded, more will be sigma. Less will be data spread, less will be the standard deviation, sigma. Clear? Super clear? Are you enjoying this entire discussion and journey? Are your concepts getting clear today? So our efforts of evening, spending 2.5, 3 hours is worth, right? Very good. Thank you very much. Thank you for this appreciation and the feedback. Okay, super. So what we'll do, we'll close the session today here. Okay, tomorrow we will we'll continue with the measure phase. We'll cover the analysis phase as well tomorrow. Okay, tomorrow come with the Minitab as well. Okay, now how do you access the Minitab? Just send the message to the mentor number, and if you don't have the access to Minitab, we will guide you how to get the access to Minitab. Clear? So tomorrow before coming, make sure you sit with the laptop if possible. If you're traveling with with only mobile, okay, then it is okay. You can just check the recording later. But for the Minitab purpose, just send a message and we will send you the we'll share with you, Prabhakarji. Okay, just send the message, one line message, and you will get to know. All right. Enjoyed? Thank you very much. Okay. Thank you very much for joining in. We'll connect again at 7 p.m. tomorrow sharp with the same enthusiasm. And we'll continue the journey of measure phase, Minitab, analysis phase, and the next part. Okay. Thank you very much for connecting. We'll connect again tomorrow. Till the time, keep learning, keep growing. This is Dinesh Patil signing off. Bye-bye. Take care. Good night.